Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. Just, you know, going through some Spidey stuff, news, things of that nature. You know, chilling like a cool guy. There's doggy. There's a lot of things to talk about right now. I haven't done a video in a while, and as far as like Spider-Man 3 2021. So yeah, there's a lot to go into. Got a little bit of agenda here. Okay, so lots to talk about here. First off, let's get the intro out of the way. Formalities. Hi, I'm Duel. I talk about Spider-Man, do Spider-Man video games, things of that nature, other stuff, Rocket League, but mainly Spidey stuff. That's the point of this channel. Well, really, I don't really have a point to anything that I do in my channel because nobody watches me, but that's fine. I'm not doing it for the views. I just do it because I like to talk to myself in a camera, and I like to talk about Spider-Man. So here we are. So let's get into it. If you're watching it, well, I appreciate it. I thank you. But anyways, so first thing we're gonna talk about here, Venom 2. Latest rumor, or I guess report, is that it's gonna be rated R. This is interesting to me. I mean, I'm sorry if I go off on tangents or ramblings. This is unscripted. I'm not writing a script for this video. I'm just kind of going off the cusp, or however you want to call that, whatever you want to, off the hatter. I don't know. Anyways, Venom 2 rated R. Interesting, because when we saw the first Venom movie, it was PG-13, and a lot of people were disappointed with that, myself included. I thought the main reason that Sony does Spider-Man movies and Spider-Man properties, they're always going to be PG-13 so that the kids can go and see the movies and, you know, they get maximum profits. It's really interesting because when Venom originally came out, it was going to be rated R, or that was the working theory, and I think Sony last minute decided, no, we're going to make it PG-13. Well, the main theory or working theory, the reason that they did that was so that they could get Tom in the movie, because they can't really do Spider-Man and do rated R. First off, we're not there with Tom Holland. He's not mature enough to be in a rated R film, and second off, it's Spider-Man, and I don't think, at least MCU version, with what we've got going on in the MCU in this century, we will never get a rated R Spider-Man. As much as I'd love to see something like that down the line, maybe in like 10 years, after we've seen Spider-Man enough times and got like a darker storyline, it's just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen with the MCU era. Just not. It's not a thing. So that's the main reason why I think Venom 2 being rated R is very interesting. It seems like Sony's not gonna. They've got a Spider-Man-ish crossover coming with Tom Holland, and we know that's to be true. We just don't know what it is yet and how it's gonna work. All these crazy rumors of Spider-Man 3. There's a lot of things going into that. At least a lot of rumors, I guess. Well, and we'll get to that here. We'll talk about Spider-Verse in just a second, but this is interesting. And let's look at this. We got this covered. They do a lot of I don't want to listen to audio. They do a lot of reports like this. Not just Venom stuff. You know, they do Spidey stuff. Just get out of my way. So let's see what they have to say here. It may have been a monster hit that raked in over $850 million at the box office, giving Sony the confidence to once again forge ahead on a shared universe only loosely connected to Spider-Man, but Venom was a very strange movie. Yes, it was. The narrative, script, cinematography, visual effects, and direction were all sorely lacking, and yet there was something fascinating watchable about the symbiotic origin story. So, they're not really telling me anything that I want to know here. Let's see. This is a tweet from Grace Randolph. Grace Randolph is I guess like a pop culture reporter. I do follow her, and I do believe the things that she reports on are usually true, mostly true. Okay, I'm gonna say 90% true. I don't know. I don't follow her for other things other than Spider-Man. But let's go ahead and just click on this really quick.
Watch the official first trailer for Venom and Carnage at the 55th Super Bowl's halftime show on the 7th of February on CBS. Only in theaters this June. Rated R.
Okay, so there it is. Rated R right there, as you can see. No, not a secret. We got this covered. Usually the things that they report on are just mainly rumors. But as you can see, that if this teaser isn't, which it doesn't look fake. But you know, who knows with media nowadays. So it's looking like it's rated R. So the thing about this is, I guess Sony's pulling out all the stops. It's going to be full-on Venom-Verse Carnage, and they think that this movie is just going to make a ton of money. Which, if you're a hardcore Spider-Man fan, then yes, this movie is going to be sick. It means they're not going to pull any punches like they did in the first Venom movie, where it looked like some of the scenes that they were going to do, like when he bites off that guy's head, and it just goes to a black screen instead of them actually doing it. It seems like, it really does seem like parts of that movie would have been a lot better if it was rated R. So yeah, so my thoughts on that are I'm excited, and I think with Sony, I would hope that they talk to Kevin Feige about this so that they have some sort of direction, because whenever Tom crosses over with Tom Hardy in whatever crossover they decide to do, then you know, it's obviously not gonna be rated R, so they'll have to tone elements of Venom back down, per se, I guess. No, they'll have to. There won't be an option. Anyway, so Venom 2. Let's get that out of the way. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, next thing we're gonna talk about is Morbius getting delayed. There's not a whole lot to say here. Morbius getting delayed yet again is this is more Sony. They just want to get that box office release date money, and I can't really see as to why they would delay it again. But originally this movie was supposed to come out last year. As everybody knows, a lot of movies were supposed to come out last year. I'm gonna close this out because I don't know what this is. But it was supposed to be Morbius and then Venom 2, and I think we were going to maybe I don't know how they're gonna tie it in. We do know that Vulture is gonna be in the movie, at least a slight cameo, and I'll talk about more on him in a minute here, about Spider-Verse and all that stuff. But basically, they're just trying to cash in on the box office stuff here. They want to get everyone in the theater, their butts in the seats. They want this movie to be successful, and I can't blame them, you know, at all. They're not risking it at all. When COVID first hit, they immediately delayed this movie. So the thing is, I'm sure they're gonna do some last minute editing to make the story fit chronologically as far as like Venom. Venom and Spider-Man goes, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's about it on Morbius. It looks like I said, it's gonna be March 19. We're probably still not gonna be fully back to any sort of normalcy by that time. Vaccine's still going out, but it's looking like it's gonna for now premiere October 8th, and Venom is scheduled to premiere in June, like we just saw in that clip. All right, moving on to the next thing. Spider-Man 3 casting rumors. So this one hit the news media, whatever you call it, Google, all the major outlets, hit Monday, which was yesterday, obviously. And it's basically just Kevin Feige. You know, these are clickbait titles. Master of Deception, Kevin Feige stops short of confirming Spider-Man 3 casting rumors. You know, I read a couple of articles, and basically comes out and says, you know, hey, I'm aware that there's rumors online. Sometimes they're true, and sometimes they're not, and it's really just fun to see which ones are true and which ones aren't. Some of them are spot on, and some of them are way off. So basically, he doesn't really say anything that adds to any of the Spider-Man 3 Spider-Verse stuff, and it's Kevin Feige. He's not going to, right? It's that same situation where when they were talking about Homecoming with Amy Pascal, and Amy's sitting there like, yeah, there's totally going to be a universe where it's all connected with Venom and all that stuff, and he just kind of sits in the back like no, like he's just ready to pull out a gun and just shoot Amy, because no, that's not happening. And this was, this was Homecoming. This is a long time ago. This is when we just barely got our taste of Tom. This was before Infinity War, Endgame, all that stuff. Lots changed since then. Sony and Marvel, they've redone their deal with Spider-Man. They're sharing arrangement twice now, I think. Yeah, twice. At least that's what's been reported anyway. So we don't even know, like, we won't know what all that entails until they actually confirm what's going on with Spider-Man 3. So that's interesting. He's being very coy about, what's going on. There's a big question mark around Spider-Man right now as far as like the third movie. And I'm gonna talk about that here. And actually that's our next segment. So let's go on and talk about that. All right, so Spider-Verse time, the fun stuff, right? This is what you clicked on the video for, I'm sure. And there's other YouTube channels that you could be watching right now, but if you're watching mine, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But anyway, let's talk about Spider-Verse, what you've all come for. There's all kinds of rumors going on with these two Spider-Men joining the reigns, and then the funny joke that Tom Holland is going to cameo in his own movie. Here's where I'm gonna just talk about what I think is actually happening, and then we'll talk about what everyone thinks is happening, or at least what they want us to think is happening, I guess. So let's just start with, we thought we were gonna get some sort of trailer back in December. There was a Sony rep that came out and said, hey, we're going to give you some sort of teaser, whatever that is. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's coming, which, this, I don't remember if this was during COVID or not. I can't remember. I think it might have been, but regardless, let's say COVID wasn't happening, we would have gotten some sort of teaser in December. No questions asked. I 100% guarantee we would have. With COVID, I was very skeptical that we were going to get one. Even with the Sony rep saying, just because, first off, if these two things are true, if these two are actually coming back, there's no way that they could have, and especially with them, the rumors of them locking down Tobey being as difficult as it actually is, there's no way they would have gotten any footage. And let's be honest, they don't need to. They didn't need to get any footage with these two to release some sort of teaser trailer. They literally could have just announced the title of the movie, do like a it's a shot where the title is like, the camera is panning back and you hear Toby and Andrew and Tom just talking. Doesn't even have to be some new dialogue from the movie. It could just be dialogue from all three of their own movies, talking over each other, and then it shows the title, Spider-Man Homeworlds, or whatever it is, Spider-Man Home. Spider-Man Multiple Homes. Who the fuck knows? Spider-Man Homeless. Who knows? It could have been something like that. And we as the fans, we would have freaked the fuck out. Would have broke the entire internet, right? And that's all we needed. But I don't know. We didn't get it. So and the next thing I want to talk about is Tom Holland tweeting. He made a tweet. I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. And he basically just tweeted out 1-1421. And that is, that's actually on Thursday, and, everyone's like, could this be Spider-Man related? I don't think it is. I think he's in this new movie called Cherry, and I think that's what it's going to be about. I don't think it's going to be Spider-Man related, but it could be. Knowing Tom, who knows? Could be. But maybe not. Probably not. I'm not going to get my hopes up just because we've gotten so far. Not knowing... and it's really strange also because, not with Tom, but in the marketing for Spider-Man 3 in general, because, after Endgame, they immediately started marketing Far From Home. Immediately. They even had like a Tom Holland coming out and being like, hey, you haven't seen Endgame, don't watch my trailer. Okay, now enjoy the trailer. Okay, go watch it. Go watch. So, Sony is very heavy on marketing and spoilers, and so if any of this is true, which it's feeling like it is, just because, You can't, like, how are you going to bring back Jamie's Electro and you're going to bring back Alfred Molina if those two specific actors to play the same characters that they were, you know, years ago, especially Alfred Molina, holy crap, that was so long ago. Wow, 2004. It's 2020. That's 16 years later. That's nuts. Yeah, that's crazy. You're not gonna just bring back Alfred Molina and bring back Jamie Foxx and just play these characters and not even reference Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, you know? I mean, which that might be what it is. It might have, and you know, the fans would freaking hate that. I know I would be pissed if that's all it was. Like, oh yeah, I fought this other Spider-Man, and they don't show him at all. They don't do anything like that. So, and I don't think Sony would just blow their wad on these two actors not to bring Tobey and Andrew. So my theory is I think this is happening, and I'm just being cautiously optimistic. And they're really trying to lock this in before they announce anything that's actually happening. And also, if this was Marvel, we wouldn't know until the movie, movie came out. We probably wouldn't even know this was happening. With Sony, when they lock down whatever it is they got to do with Tobey and Andrew, whatever that is, all these actors that supposedly are signed on, and they will market the crap out of this movie, and we will know. It's not going to be a secret. Like, we probably won't get any major scenes that come with the movie, but there'll be something where they're like, hey, look, come see our movie. We want to make more than Far From Home. How do we do it? The other Spider-Man. And I know for a fact, there's people that would come and see this movie for Tobey and Andrew, or just Tobey or just Andrew alone. Don't even need Tom Holland. They will come just for that reason. And I think somebody at Sony finally understands that. Holy crap. That it's not just about one Spider-Man. It's not all of them. It's about, you know, I was 10 years old when I got introduced to Spider-Man 1. You know, I didn't read the comics growing up. I was too young. I've read the comics now, not all of them, but most of them. Still reading them. But these movies mean something to people. So, at least to me especially, and I know it's not just me. So, these three would definitely be the one. You could argue, you could almost top Endgame in my opinion, because, you know, Kevin Feige did work on the Raimi films. I think he's uncredited actually. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but I can't remember. But, you know, Blade and Spider-Man back in the day, they paved the way for the MCU. X-Men too, but we're not going to talk about X-Men here. A little bit out of my expertise anyway. But anyway, we know that Tobey basically paved the way for the MCU. And Raimi had the direction. Also, there's no coincidence that, you know, Sam Raimi's directing Doctor Strange 2. And then the other thing I was going to talk about is they actually did finally confirm, which, you know, we had an assumption anyway, but they did confirm that WandaVision is going to tie in Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2. No shocker, but now we know. It's like they're just planting these little breadcrumbs. Like, oh, first off we get Electro. And then we get Alfred Molina coming back. And now they're saying, oh, WandaVision's now going to tie into it. So they're just giving us these little breadcrumbs, and they're teasing the fans, and we're all just like, just tell us it's happening. Just fucking tell us. Like, we're dying inside. We're like, especially me, I'm dying. I can't wait. As far as like what it's actually going on with like WandaVision and how that's going to work, I don't really know, but I have theories. Here's mine. Theory time, you ready? Time for theory time. So, I don't really know what's going to happen with WandaVision. The show itself seems like it's kind of silly. It doesn't look like it's going to be taking itself all that serious until like the latter half of the show, or the season, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's going to get a second season. Probably not. I would say this was like a one season arc type of deal. But whatever happens, Wanda's going to go crazy at the end. She's going to do something that's going to shatter the fabric of the MCU, which is interesting because, you know, we've been in the MCU this long, and everything's been neat and tidy, and this movie, then this movie, then this movie, and then Wanda's gonna come in, and it's like, oh, we're gonna flip that on their head. Now that we've actually introduced something called the multiverse, with Far From Home and Mysterio, they can do so much with this. They can have so much fun. I've seen rumors of John Krasinski coming in as Cap, maybe Jensen Ackles being Cap. Doing all these actors that they had originally planned and then they changed last minute or whatever it is. Glenn Howerton playing Star-Lord. That'd be cool to see. I would love to see a version of that. Alternate reality characters. But anyway, let's stay on track here and talk more about Spider-Man and how that's gonna play in. So Wanda's gonna go crazy. She's going to damage the MCU. It's no longer gonna be this nice little neat story. Things are gonna have to be explained. It's gonna fuck things up, and it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully, anyway. It's seemingly that way. There's just so much they can do. And I'm rambling again. Sorry about that. But what I will say is, I think so. There's an image, and I'll throw it up on the screen here. There's an image of Morbius, and he's walking down some alley, in his jumpsuit, and there's like an image of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and it says murder plastered on it. And everyone's like, oh, it's Tom Holland. He killed Mysterio, and that's why that's like that. Everyone's like, oh, well, why is it Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? That's weird. And if you look at it, it is the exact silhouette. Well, it's not really a silhouette, but it's the exact image of a loading screen Spider-Man from Spider-Man PS4. That's what that is. And it's Tobey Maguire's suit. Why did they do that? Oh, they'll fix it in post and whatever, Why? They could just fix it then. Why? I've never heard of that. I mean, unless it's some huge spoilery thing, like example in Far From Home, whenever, Peter's wearing the Iron Spider suit, he's actually not wearing that suit. He's wearing the Homecoming suit, right? And then they change it for the movie, and oh yeah, it's actually the Far From Home suit. Why? I don't know why they really did that. Doesn't really affect the plot at all, but it doesn't matter. You can do things like that with trailers all the time. It doesn't matter. The thing is, why would they specifically use Tobey Maguire's suit? Why not just use Tom's? There's no explaining why they couldn't just slap on Tom's suit. Why would they, we'll fix it in post? No, that's bullshit. I don't believe that for a second. I don't really know why they would do that unless all of this Spider-Verse stuff and all this WandaVision stuff, they wanted to make it work together when after Far From Home, Kevin Feige and Marvel and Sony, they all got together in their little meetings and they made the decision that they were going to renew the Spider-Man arrangement, and this is what they wanted to do. And they also wanted to make Peter the center of, not really next Iron Man, even though he's technically Iron Man Jr. He's going to be the center of the MCU going forward, basically. Is what it sounds like to me anyway. So they can't do that if he's not in the MCU anymore. So they get their arrangement. They decide, hey, we're going to have Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange 2. Oh, great. Well, we got John Watts directing the third movie. He can talk to Sam Raimi, and then now they've actually confirmed that John Watts is actually talking to writers and directors on WandaVision. So that's actually happening. So it's all connected, right? So let's talk about potential plot here. What I think is actually happening. I rambled. Sorry about that. Getting back on track. Back to the Morbius movie, we see that image, right? We see that image. It says murder on it. I don't think that's Tom's Spider-Man. I think that actually is Tobey's Spider-Man. Bear with me here. Bear with me. I think that Morbius and Venom, or at least the Morbius movie, is in the Tobey Maguire universe. If you go back and watch Spider-Man 3, the guy that plays Eddie Brock, he's very shady. Very sly person. They're just like, that's just how Eddie Brock is. He's kind of a shitty guy. Yes, but they could totally retcon that. They could totally retcon that and say that actually wasn't Edward Brock Jr. It was somebody else. Just Topher Grace. He's just being a shitty character. It wouldn't be far-fetched because, he tries to get with Gwen. That doesn't work out. He tries to get with, he tries to, lost my train of thought. He photoshops photos of the Daily Bugle so that he could get that lead position that Peter's after, which obviously gets outed for. He's just a shady guy. Well, the version of Eddie Brock that we know from the Venom movie is really not that shady. He's actually, he does what he can to get the best scoop, but he's not that shady, right? He's more of a good guy than this version of Eddie Brock that we got in Spider-Man 3, right? So it's not so far-fetched that at the end of Spider-Man 3, Eddie Brock, Topher Grace, dies. He dies, right? They never really resolved that conflict, did they? No. He blows up. Peter talks to Sandman. They cry about Harry, and then he goes and sees Mary Jane. That's the end of the. No Spider-Man 4, no 5. Don't address he blows up with the pumpkin bomb with with Venom symbiote, and then poof, gone. Right? They could totally say, this is a different iteration of the symbiote that came down. It doesn't have to be exactly the same goop that got Topher Grace. It doesn't have to be, and so now we get the real Eddie Brock, and they're in that same universe together. And, the reason I think that the Venom and Morbius, it makes sense for them to be connected or in the same universe is, they got to set up a reason for Venom to go after Spider-Man whenever they do crossover, since this version of Venom doesn't actually come from Peter Parker's Spider-Man. He doesn't come from it. It's just an alien that comes out of the sky that has super abilities. So they could totally make it so that they see that murderer, on the wall, and that's, Venom only goes after bad people. So they're gonna be like, oh, let's go after Spider-Man. He's a bad guy. We don't really like him. Also, Venom, I could easily see Venom and Eddie just being like, yeah, he's wearing a red suit. I don't really like this guy. Let's go kill him. Let's go fuck him up. So that could set up that plot. But yeah, they could totally do it where that is actually Toby, because the Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3 actually dies, because that's an unresolved conflict. They never resolved that conflict. And to be honest, I guess they didn't have to, but whatever, end of a trilogy. But they could totally reopen that and say, yeah, look, this version of Spider-Man is Toby, and he technically killed Eddie Brock at the end of Spider-Man 3. And that's where all the fun stuff happens. And they're like, well, wait a minute. But Vulture's in the trailer at the end of the movie. That's where WandaVision comes in. WandaVision can totally fuck up the MCU, and it shatters Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Where, dimensions start bleeding into each other. Yeah. Almost like a, not Flashpoint, but something that could happen from the Flash. There's like holes in these different universes. So let's say Wanda goes crazy. She starts poking holes in these different universes. Somehow Vulture figures it out, gets free. He sees this Morbius guy. He travels to Toby's universe, sees this Morbius guy. Hey, what's up, Doc? I want to recruit you. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not a writer. I don't know the full story. But that could be how that's explained. And that's how is Vulture in Toby's universe. That's the reason, right? It's all starting to come together. So, they start bleeding together. This also paves the way for Tom Holland and Venom to meet, because, Venom will start hunting Spider-Man and what have you. And maybe we get a hardened Peter Parker, or like maybe Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man quit after Spider-Man 3. We don't know. And then that's when Tom's comes in, and then they're like, well, wait a minute, you're Spider-Man? Maybe Tobey shows up after years of, it's been years, right, since Spider-Man 3, They could say how many X amount of years, and then Tom just shows up, and then Toby's like, well, wait a minute, who are you? I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. And then they run into Electro, poking holes in these universes. Like, who's this? And then, oop, Mr. Garfield shows up. Boom. It's all connected. No, seriously, I really think that's really what they're doing. And I gotta give them props. You know, Sony's not good at doing these things. They're not. So they're just not. I'm sorry. They're not good at planning these things. But that's how I think that all these three Spider-Men can get connected, is obviously through WandaVision, Spider-Man, and then of course after Spider-Man 2 we know Doctor Strange, or Spider-Man 3, sorry. Excuse me. After Spider-Man 3 we know that Doctor Strange 2 is next, and I'd be willing to bet if Tobey's not in Spider-Man 3, he will show up in Doctor Strange 2 at the very least. At the very least. There's no way they're not going to do that with Multiverse of Madness and Sam Raimi and Spider-Man. They're just not going to waste that opportunity. They're just not going to do it. And if we're lucky, we'll get a Bruce Campbell cameo in Doctor Strange 2 as well. That would be really fun. But yeah, that's I rambled a lot, but that's basically what I had to say. Just there's been a lot going on recently, and I haven't had any with the holidays and stuff and work. I haven't had with the new year. I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of Spidey videos, but I'm getting back on track. But yeah, very very interesting. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm very intrigued. If this is actually happening, really, it's really looking like it is, right? Then they're doing a good job. Kevin Feige is just like, you know, just in the back, like, guys, stop. Like Sony's marketing department behind me. Just chill, all right? We'll do it when it's right. I just chill. Most likely it'll be through Tom Holland. They'll be like, hey, yeah, I got my iPad over here. I'll just be like, hey guys, check it out. You know, I got this, you know, this new, these guys I've been filming on set with. I'm hanging out. They come on set and they hanging out with me. And he flips it over, and it's a picture of the Spider-Man, right? Oh, how cool is that? Like, I did not plan for them to be in the reflection of the iPad. That is wild. That is absolutely unplanned. I did not script that. Holy shit, that's something else. What does that tell you? But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I'm gonna continue doing Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man PS4 gameplay videos. I'm doing them in 30-minute chunks. That's why it's taking me so long to get them out, just because I feel like people don't want to sit down and watch me play hours and hours on end. I'm not Jacksepticeye, I'm not Markiplier, I'm not PewDiePie, so I have to do these in chunks so that people will watch them. Anyways, that's all I had on my mind for right now. This is a long video. Sorry about that, but hopefully it's been worth your time. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe and you can like for more Spidey content. If you don't want to, don't feel the pressure. Yeah, that's it. If any more developments come through, I will definitely do a video on them. I have a full-time job, so I can't keep up with all these other YouTubers that constantly post videos about Spider-Man, and I'll just keep an eye out. Anything major happens, I will do a video on it. I'm also watching WandaVision, so if I see any Easter eggs to Spider-Man 3 or anything that could directly impact Spider-Man 3, I will definitely do a video on it. I am excited to watch WandaVision because I'm curious to see what they're going to do. But anyways, that's going to be it from me, guys. This is Dual Dire signing out, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm Dual Dire, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.